And then I also remember that if Neil still has the list, it has jelly on it.
Yeah. No, I already told Zach I couldn't find the physical list.
He couldn't find it again.
Could not find the physical.
I wanted you to lick that list.
I looked. So in the back corner over here, I have like all of my notebooks and everything, where I keep all of my notes on all the things. It's mostly school stuff, D&D stuff, but that's where I keep all of my notebooks. I went through, I couldn't find it. It's like I must have grabbed a notebook for something somewhere else along the line.
I schedule it. I organize it.
Notebooks.
You what?
I said, did you find any other jelly notebooks?
No.
I schedule it, I organize it, I edit it. You got one job. Keep track of a single piece of paper for an entire year. He had to re-listen to the show is what he had to do.
I did. This morning on the way into work, I had to re-listen to the show.
At least
while I'm driving down the highway, have my phone in my hand, like listening to it. It's like, okay,
time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. You, dear listener, for whatever reason, have decided one more time to tune into another Horrible Gaming Podcast. I am not alone, nor am I ever alone. With me is
Neil, a.k.a. a Tiny Wizard.
We got a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Foundation is united. The Triforce is together.
Yo, what's up, old man fam? Philbilly 330 here, back again once again. It's been a while.
It's been too long since we've heard the back again once again. Too long. But we're here. This show right now marks our annual wind down. We were just talking about it off air. This is the what we call our busy season, if we have one, where we do all our special end of year wrap-up shows. So this is the first one. So, without further ado, we're going to do the predictions. We're going to see who won last year. It definitely wasn't me. We're going to find out who was right about the predictions, who was wrong. All in good fun, sportsmanlike conduct. We're not going to get in each other's faces or anything, but we're just going to have fun with it. And then we're going to make predictions for next year that I'm sure will mostly be wrong. And then, but before
spoiler alert, it was not as bad as you might be anticipating.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued.
I feel like I want to see what this is because I feel like in my head I did good, but
I remember you got one dead on, 100%. But
yeah, I know for sure I know one
because I remember that one. But I'm blanking on the memory for anything else.
It was to Neil's despair, I'm sure, but I nailed that.
Oh yeah. There's one of them. Yeah. I think you already know it. Yeah.
All right. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Before we do that, we got to thank the people who make this show possible. Behind our ugly mugs, you're seeing a fancy custom picture that was provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all shows here on Old Man Gaming are provided by the man who makes the music, my brother, Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that. We're right back with Fans Reaction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, that is Fanteraction. Look, I'm going to disclaimer this before I get into this. My voice still sounds like shit. I don't feel like I should be disclaimering this anymore with the fact that it's sounded like shit for like 2 months, but just bear with me, guys. Trying everything. We had a lot of comments. We had some good amount of comments. So first of all, Jason, I love cats. I'm totally a cat person, but they don't need to be everywhere. Holy shit, parentheses, blood points. He's very into Dead by Daylight. I agree, man. Look, I hate cats. I find them to be a bane of existence. That being said, objectively, we don't need to be this obsessed with cats. We just don't. It's weird. They're everywhere. They get anything that has them in it gets some weird special treatment. It's very strange. It's very strange.
They can kill me with their dander.
And my wife and my daughter, who swears she's not allergic to it.
Around cats.
What? Say that again.
I physically go blind when I'm around kids because believe it or not, when your eyes swell so much that you can't see out of them, it counts as blind.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he gets real sick.
Wow.
Fucking Melissa gets real sick. Not anywhere near that, but Stella breaks out in hives, and Stella's just wants a cat more than anything. And we're like, you are allergic. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm not allergic to cats. I'm like, you're 6. You don't understand. You are allergic to cats. Nonetheless, I feel like Stray, the only reason Stray is in the Game of the Year category is because it's about a cat. And it's got a dedicated meow button. And that bothers me.
Dedicated meow buttons enough for Game of the Year right
shit.
there.
I just made you vanish there, Neil. Give me a second to fix that.
Whoa. Ow.
Yeah. I don't know.
He doesn't even have the green screen, and you still made him disappear.
Yeah, I figured now that I got my whole everything set up back here after about a year and a half of living here, that I can actually... okay. I froze up there for a second.
It's not you. It's my OBS made you go away. What the fuck?
Great.
Okay, so yeah. Gonna pause this real quick. We'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, we are back. Sorry about that little shake up. I don't know what I did on OBS to make Neil vanish, but I got him back, so we're good to go. So continuing with the comments, we are on to William Ho-Lewin. Hi! Exclamation point. Live for that exclamation point. Cranky Zach. Woot! Hey, thanks for the plug. And it was not a wanted break. It's just so hard to schedule and keep up with doing them. Kudos to you for keeping this a weekly thing for the past 168 weeks. I know now how hard it is. Now, in fairness, I do want to say, I think we missed a week in there. I think it was when I had COVID. I think it was when I had COVID the first time, I was like, it's just not happening this week in any way, shape, or form. There have been also a couple of weeks where I've pre-recorded something so that I could put it up so that we could take a day off. But thank you. I appreciate it. I do work very hard to keep this thing consistent. GameStop.
Last time you were sick, I remember telling you, you were like, I don't know if I can do it. It was like, you can take a week.
Yeah.
It is okay to miss a day of work. Every now and again.
I don't. Well, and I'm usually completely on board with that statement. I don't like missing an episode of the podcast. I really don't. It's like a pillar. Everything else comes and goes on our station, but somehow this podcast just fucking trudges along through the fucking years. GameStop. It was a test, not a glitch. Customers, a test for what? GameStop. About selling your personal infos to a third party? He then continues, so for my off-topic this week, I finally played Stray, and honestly, it was great. Not Game of the Year, great for sure, but I had fun. Played it with my daughter, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. We had a great time together. She was doing the exploring, and I was doing the more gameplay-intensive sections. And the text reading, we really had a great time together. Thanks for the show. Hashtag, I don't have Game Pass. Okay, William, first of all, as much as I hate Microsoft right now, Game Pass is still and continues to be the greatest value in gaming. You should definitely get it. That being said, I'm in agreement with you 100% on Stray. I I don't think it's a bad game, guys. I know I was pretty hard on it last week, but maybe my message got lost in my crankiness, because we've actually got it in one of our categories for the Horrible Game Awards. I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't think it's Game of the Year. I don't think it should be in that category, especially when you're skipping things like Kirby and the Forgotten Worlds, like Sifu, like a lot of other games that maybe deserve that spot a little bit more than that. That's all I was saying.
What does question from me to you, Will?
Sure.
What system do you even have? Because I know you play a lot of mobile and stuff.
That's
so
true.
maybe it just dawned on me when you said
Yeah.
he didn't have Game Pass. There may be a reason, like he might not.
That's true. That's true.
If he only has PlayStation,
That's
then
a
he
100%
might
good
not have it.
point. 100% point. If you're only doing the gaming on your phone or a
Switch or
PlayStation,
something.
yeah, I totally get that. If you have an Xbox though or a PC,
Yeah,
it's
then
worth
it's
it.
really
It's just
good.
100% worth it. All right. Actually, if you have a PC, it's way more worth it than if you have an Xbox, which is crazy.
Yeah, cheaper.
It's cheaper, and you get all of the benefits that you normally have to pay an extra $5 for on console.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. All right, so moving on. Back to Jason. In 2151, Microsoft has bought all other companies, and products are all now Microsoft. All governments are now Microsoft. All religions are now the Church of Microsoft. Your children go to Microsoft School number 1253-24665-2354. You work at Microsoft Employer #D1-4675-34686, and your pet is Microsoft Customizable Pet #S5-3465-V. Parentheses, and no one gets any blood points. Good.
I hope you're very wrong.
I hope you're very wrong.
It's sad that I have to say that with any ounce of concern.
Right. I have more than an ounce too. I have at least a soda bottle worth of fucking concern for that one. Jason continues with another post. Just watch a space show. 1 out of 3 of the plots are some variation of computer goes nuts. Sometimes it turns into ship is trying to kill you. Parentheses, are there blood points in space? I'm not exactly sure what he's referencing from the show, but it's true, man. That is sci-fi plots to a T. There's a lot of them that are that. And then Jason continues again. You, holy shit, go to hell. Car, confirmed. Traveling to destination hell, Michigan. Parentheses, do not pass go. Do not collect 200,000 blood points. I think that's what he's talking about, is the computer trying to kill you. And yeah,
He was talking about Teslas. You guys can talk about Teslas and their auto drive functions.
I'm never going to do it. I just can't. And you're right. Maybe it's because I grew up watching movies like The Terminator. It's just never going to happen. I'm never going to give a computer the ability to decide whether I live or die. It's just, like, not of my own volition, anyway. Then we switch to Asylum 66. You're not much older than me, and I can't wait to not drive. Actually, you're saying that wrong, Asylum. It's not you're not that much older than me. It's you're not that much younger than me, buddy. Think about that one. Asylum 66 continues. Tomb Raider has great death animations. Still couldn't imagine paying for more of them. And that's really the thing. Who is paying? It's like the Hideo Kojima thing. It's still in my brain like a fucking worm just burrowing in. Who is paying to die? It's unimaginable to me. Unimaginable. Who is paying for scenes that only happen when you fail to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? Ugh. And then finally, Asylum 66 said, laugh out loud. Pokemon guy is also a Monster Hunter guy. Hilarious comparison. I did not name names. and I will continue to not name names.
Wait, is he confirming?
Yeah, he knows the Pokemon guy that I was talking about, and apparently they all kind of roasted Pokemon guy about it while I was there as well, and I just kept saying I didn't name a name, it wasn't me. But apparently Pokemon guy and his 4 friends had no issues technically with the new Pokemon games after 100 hours. I don't believe you. I just don't.
But Pokemon confirms that there's no issues.
Oh yeah, we're good.
There's an update. There's an update.
Oh, I know.
Update to that.
I know. They've done a patch now, haven't they? Even though they said they weren't going to.
I'll just burn the odds right now because we're talking about it.
Go for it.
Yeah, after vehemently saying it's good, it's great, it's totally 100% perfect, no issues at all, we're not going to do a patch, anything like that. Sure as shit, they've turned around and said, yeah, we take feedback really serious. So 1.1 patch is on its way, guys. Don't you worry. We'll fix this game up.
We take feedback really serious. You know, when we're not telling you you're lying.
Exactly. At that point, it's like they're worried about damage to the brand going forward. And I mean, on a semi-related thing, there was this other interview a Nintendo staffer that had done recently. Back when Breath of the Wild was up for Game of the Year, they were freaking out when Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey did not win Game of the Year when it was up. Like, Nintendo as a whole was losing their minds about it.
Okay.
So as time goes by, Nintendo's like, either the curtain is being pulled back or they're starting to pivot. But they're turning into shitbags like everybody else.
A lot of stuff has come out lately that Nintendo is not a fun place to work for at all. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, you're right. I think the curtain in the last year has been kind of pulled back a little bit. I think it's because people are looking a little bit more closely at these larger companies after everything that happened with Activision. And it's definitely kind of come out that they're not, I mean, them and the other company that everybody swears by, FromSoft, it's come out that they're nightmare people to work for. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that's Nintendo is different, though, because FromSoft, it's like, okay, they're nightmare people to work for, whatever, but Nintendo is everybody's baby. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're the wholesome company. That's the image they like to project. Mm-hmm. So when you see that there's all this kind of, like, dirty shit with them, which has been there forever, cardboard to children. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is, you know? All right, that's it for Fan Traction, unless anybody has anything to add, gentlemen.
Not over here.
No, I think we're good.
We got to get into the predictions. We got to do this. We're going to be right back with those predictions, ladies and gentlemen.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our talking point, and I gotta say, I don't know if this is you guys' favorite out there as fans, but I think this is one of our personal favorite shows every year. It's so much fun to do. It's so much fun to laugh at what we thought was going to happen, be really surprised at what we got right, that sort of thing. I think last year was the first time Phil got to participate, which makes this even more entertaining because we've got like a triple threat this time instead of the year before where it was just me and Neil. So I'm very excited for this. I hope that translates into a good show. But here's what's going to happen. Neil has painstakingly recreated the what we predicted from last show. And he is going to first go through each person individually. We're going to go through each one of our predictions from last year. We're going to decide who gets them right. I think the rules are the wild prediction was worth 2. A completely correct prediction was worth 1, and then you could get a half point for like getting it kind of half right. Is that how we did it?
So we did the wild one as 1 point, but we can do the wild one as 2 if you would like. And yeah, that was basically the rules. If you were spot on or generally spot on, you would get a full point. The wild one, we can make that be worth 2 just because it's kind of out there. And then you could at any point in time vie for an argument state as to, whether or not it was fully true, or at least, on the right track, partially true.
And then everybody kind of, don't get me wrong, we're making this sound very contentious. It's not. We just kind of come to a consensus.
Oh, it is.
It might be this year. I don't know. Philbilly brings a whole new bag of tricks. But, we just kind of vote on whether we should get a whole point or a full point or whatever, and then we decide kind of who won at the end of the thing. And then we're going to do our predictions for next year. We're each going to go round robin and do one prediction at a time. We get 3 predictions each, and then one crazy prediction that's very less likely to come true than other ones. I like within the realm of possibility, but kind of nuts. So there we go. So Neil,
have your speeches prepared if you are the winners, because I do.
All right.
I don't think I'm the winner, so I have prepared nothing. I never win these, even before you, Phil. My predictions are always either way too positive or way too negative. It's either he wants everything to be roses and nothing's happy, or I want companies to burn and they never do. So,
all right. So then we will start here just because I have it by order of which we went last year.
Sounds good.
We'll start with Phil's.
Okay.
Number 1, Bungie reveals Matter. It was supposed to be their new IP that was supposed to kind of take the pressure off of Destiny and kind of be that new thing to kind of get them back into the groove of things.
Didn't hear about it.
Yeah, we didn't hear a single thing about it, I don't think at all.
Honestly, I was surprised you didn't do that as your crazy one. Because I felt like that one was a little bit crazier than the other one.
I thought that was going to happen. Well, I thought Bungie was going to do something.
Something, right.
And nothing happened. So.
Nothing.
And to be fair, I think if they were ready to show it with Sony going ahead and acquiring Bungie, I feel like that would have been the time for them to say something about it, for sure.
I could give you a conspiracy theory, though, for you, that you might have been robbed. If you want me to put the official Zach tinfoil hat on, which has...
Yeah, I'd love to hear how I possibly could have got a point.
They might have actually had this and be ready for it, but Sony might have said, don't you dare announce it because we're trying to make ourselves look weak so that we can get the FTC to put sanctions on Xbox.
That's fair.
Tinfoil hat, ladies and gentlemen. I can always come up with a gaming conspiracy. I'm like fucking Mel Gibson. Oh, fucking.
Yeah, then Microsoft could have shot back, well, you got Matter,
You got Matter coming. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's first party from Bungie. Nonetheless, you don't get any points. But still.
Well, that all changes with the next one, the one that we actually already kind of talked about a little bit. The next one, Gotham Knights is an absolute train wreck. Solid 1 right there for sure.
I think so.
I'm sad that it's 1, but because I actually do want a good Arkham type game, but
especially that kind of thing. I would love just a character, you know what I mean, like an open world instead of just narrative. Yeah, it turned out bad.
Following up with that one, the next one was there is going to be a new Uncharted game announced alongside the release of the Uncharted movie. I don't know. You might be able to make an argument. I think you should get a half
point for that.
Yeah, you might be able to make an argument for the half point. Because they had the collection and everything come to PC, and then the updated port.
I would say let's give him a half point. I say it's real close though, because I don't necessarily think that synergy was planned. I think it just kind of happened.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I think that you did have a collection come out within 4 or 5 months of the movie, Uncharted thing of some sort.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys. That's what's nice about having 3 of us. We don't have to. It's a
See, not contentious. Not contentious. We're all friends.
Yeah, I'll give you the half point on that one.
Okay, all right. Next up.
And the next one is the wild one. A 60% decline in Halo Infinite's player base.
Definitely.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's 60%, but there's definitely been a sharp decline in the player base.
It's a lot.
I mean, even myself, like I played it once on my Kishi on break at work a little while ago. Outside of that, I literally haven't touched it since Forbidden West came out.
You want to hear something crazy? Was I looked it up a month ago because I remembered thinking about that, and I had saw something in the news from launch, which there's always a decline, you know.
Oh yeah.
But from launch, it's like 83%, or it was a month and a half ago.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a winner.
I think normal is like a 30 or 40% decline from like the hype, you know, state to. But yeah, it was like 83. I think I saw.
Yeah, but I think that's close enough to award you the points on that one.
Yeah. So are we giving 2 then?
Yeah, we'll give them 2.
All right, so that's 3.5, right?
3.5 points. That is the highest score since we've been tracking scores.
Banner debut year, sir. Banner.
All right. So moving on to Zach.
Yeah, bring the train wreck on. Bring it on.
Number 1. Starfield is releasing on time, but it is broken. They pushed it back, unfortunately.
Yeah. Can't get that kid. No points. 0. Goose egg.
Yeah, on that one there. Following up from that, Microsoft doesn't buy any studios.
They haven't bought any studios.
Oh man,
they haven't bought any studios.
What
have they bought?
Your words.
What have they bought?
Your
words. I'm waiting, motherfucker. I'm waiting. Nah, don't give me the point. I'm just fucking around.
I was about to say.
I'm just fucking around. I wanted to fight him, but don't. I'm just fucking around. I don't give a point.
No, you're good.
They definitely.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it was. We thought that they were done, and then lo and behold, they want to go for all of the honey in the pot all at once. Apparently,
that happened like so soon after our prediction too.
Yeah.
Well, what bothered, and that was what crazy to me was the only reason I thought they were going to take a small break was they had just purchased Bethesda. You know, and Bethesda was like fucking 8 studios onto itself, and then like 3 months later it was like, yeah, we're gonna buy fucking Blizzard Activision. I'm like, okay, bye. All right, 0. Like I said, I never win these. I don't even get close.
That's all right, because I think you've got a point on the next one here.
Really?
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers releases and is received well.
I think that's a full point. Full point. That's a good one.
I mean, it's not like 9s and 10s, but it absolutely is.
It is better than average, though. It is better. I would say at least 7s and 8s across the board.
7 and above is good.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was a risky one. I remember you laughing at me for that one.
Yeah,
like I remember getting laughed at for that one. Now that it's been brought up, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, there was a whole separate side conversation with that one.
Yeah.
In that
that was my positivity one. That was just my I'm throwing positivity in the world. I remember saying it when I was doing it. Like, I'm just gonna put out this positivity out there. Good on Frontiers, man. It's a good game.
Yeah, I think I'm a little over halfway through God of War Ragnarok at this point, so soon I'll be able to crack that open and give it a shot.
You got it. If you're a Sonic fan, you got to play it.
And then your final one, your crazy one.
I don't remember what the crazy one is.
The crazy one was Game Pass will have a challenger, but it will not be PlayStation. It will be Steam.
Oh,
didn't quite come.
No.
I mean, they got Steam Deck out, but they haven't put any.
There's no Game Pass services.
Right.
Yeah.
because the pitch that you brought it with was it would be the perfect 1-2 punch of the Steam Deck. Get the Steam Deck established, and then hey, guess what? Steam Pass or whatever.
I still think that's a great. I did not remember that, but that is 100% the people who need to compete with Game Pass. But I mean, instead we got Sony.
Well, too.
Instead we got Sony, who did attempt to compete with them and is failing pathetically.
Yeah, Steam Deck is doing well though.
It is.
Yeah, it is. I want one. I want one bad.
Apparently they're giving away one a minute during the Game Awards, but you have to watch it through Valve's streaming service.
I have almost like I never get swayed by sweepstakes. That one almost I'll give that a try, man. I'll give that a try. I don't know though. We'll see.
So in the end, there you got yourself a solid point.
Yay! Probably my lowest ever, but whatever. Yay! All right, Neil.
So next, see what yours are. Yep, myself. I remember this one here being so excited and so confident in it, and I made a bold claim as well with this one. My first one was the Metroid Prime Collection for the Switch is real, and it will be coming out this year. And if it does not come out this year, it's not real.
So it's not real.
Yeah, it's definitely not real because my argument, and I still stand by my line of reasoning for that, was we had Metroid Dread come out, and then we also had the anniversary of Metroid was this past year. It was the perfect time, the perfect storm. If they were going to do it, that's when they would do it, or at least announce it. We have gotten zip zero zilch about it. It can't be a thing at this point. It can't be a thing. It's not a thing.
Yeah, that's a goose egg.
Yeah, big old goose egg. My next one, there is a very narrow path for an argument for this one, but I'm not going to push for it. My next one was Bobby Kotick being removed at Activision. So, I mean, he very much has said that, when the deal goes through, that he's gonna, run his time out. But at the same time, the deal's not gone through. The deal is in flux, and he's going to get his.
I was about to say, I'll give you a half point for that one if you give me a half point that Microsoft didn't buy any studios this year.
Exactly.
I was going to say that too. It's almost half a point, but he didn't get removed. He's just
right.
Even even getting a buyout, I don't think would be removal.
If he got the buyout, I'd argue for the half a point because I did go out of my way to make the distinction that he was not going to step down voluntarily; that he was going to be physically voted out, removed from the position. Right. Close, but no cigar on that one, unfortunately.
I get it.
So next. I'm pretty sure I got a point for this one. Okay. Sony reveals their Game Pass competition and won't have games day and date.
That's 100% a point. That is 100% a point. They have a Game Pass competition. It's terrible. It's terrible.
They themselves have said that it's terrible when they're doing their own negative dick swinging competitions back and forth between Microsoft and Sony. That's it is not good, and there is no drive for me to even get that.
You definitely get a point for that one.
And I may argue for a half a point on my crazy one.
Well, if we're giving 2 points, it'd be a full point. But yeah.
Well,
what's your crazy one? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Microsoft announces a Game Pass streaming machine. Yes. In its cancellation, they announced it.
You know what? I'm going to say you get a half point. I agree. They announced that they had one, and they shut it down. There was one in production. I'm going to give you a half point. And then that way I can be last place. Phil can be first place.
I was about to say, that does make Phil, that is the strongest showing that we have had yet.
Good job, Phil.
debut champion.
Good job.
I would like to thank
the acceptance.
I would like to thank my family, the old man fam, everyone who thought that I couldn't get here. I got here, and it's all because of you. And if you want this kind of success in your life, I have 9 words to follow. Let me get in. Ain't scared. Never been scared. Never gonna be scared. Words to live by, folks. If you want to be a champion like Philbilly. 3, 2.
Bravo, sir.
Wise words. Bravo.
Yeah, bravo.
Round of applause.
That microphone sounded like it was inside you when you did that. You got it so close. It was like, oh, man. All right. So on to the new predictions then. A new year for me to fail, right?
Yeah! I am currently making a sticky note on my computer.
So you're going smaller on the notes. You think that was the problem with losing it? You needed a smaller piece of paper?
I need a digital version of it. Yeah, peanut butter is what I need. I'm making a digital version of it. So
okay. Okay. All right. I'm down. All right.
So, yeah.
So who's starting us off?
Same as before. Same rules. We're doing 3 regular ones. No, easy predictions for those who have not listened to our previous ones. No, something's not going to come out unless it's a very firm release date or something like that.
Or if it is, it has to be a detailed part of it. It can't just be this gets delayed again. It has to be this is why, or this gets delayed to this time, or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just start then. Go ahead, Phil. Start us off.
Winner starts. Right. Winner leads.
Winner starts.
All right. I am going to go with. We'll go with this first. Hogwarts Legacy does come out, and unfortunately is a complete shit show.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I can already smell the point.
I wish it's another one. I wish I'm wrong because I am interested in that game. I just think it's going to be trash.
I don't like Harry Potter. I don't want to play this game. I hope you're wrong too. Just because we need more IPs in the mix for big AAA games, I'm getting sick of the fatigue. So I'm hoping you're wrong just for that reason.
You know why? Not aside from all the bugs and stuff I think are going to be in this game. I think that even if it were a good game, I don't think they're going to be able to introduce magic correctly into a open world game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be blue, red, yellow spells shooting out of a wand, and it's not going to feel right.
It's going to be battle magic from every RPG ever.
The only magic systems I think work in games are in the CRPGs.
Yeah.
Hot take, I guess, but that's
I really like the magic system from Wildermyth, which is kind of a CRPG too. So.
It is, really.
It is, really. You're right.
It's a random generated CRPG.
Yeah. All right, so who's after him? That's a good prediction.
I will. Go ahead.
I hope you're wrong.
Go ahead, Zach. I will go last, as I will be recording all of these.
All right. I'm going to start with my biggest non-crazy one. You guys ready? Microsoft's going to buy Ubisoft this year. They're going to buy Ubisoft this year. That's going to happen. I know everybody's like, what are you talking about? They're in FTC battles. My next prediction directly deals with the FTC stuff. But I wanted to go crazy first. I think they're going to resolve that shit early next year. Late next year, we're going to hear about Ubisoft is in talks to sell to Microsoft. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they get away with the Activision sale, the Ubisoft sale will be no problem because Activision is way bigger than Ubisoft. Nobody's even going to fucking balk at it, even though it's going to be basically every AAA studio on the fucking market. But I think they're going to buy Ubisoft. I think they would have bought Ubisoft already if it weren't for all the problems they're having with Activision. I think they were already in the room with them. We've just seen too much activity on Game Pass.
just to clarify for next year, is the deal done and gone through, or we hear about it?
Good call. We hear about it. It goes into it. Basically, it's the same as this year. Like, it might not be completed, but they announce it on the social medias that they've accepted a deal, and then it goes to the normal trade commission stuff.
Yeah, let me update that with clarification.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate that, because I don't think it'll be done by the end of next year. I just think it'll be announced.
My first one, I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently. I'm done with the Metroid Prime trilogy this year, at least. I ran that one 2 years in a row, and it got me nowhere. So I'm going to piss my hopes and dreams down a different drain. Metroid Prime 4 is at least going to get a trailer, a proper gameplay trailer.
Okay.
We have not heard anything for a long time. It got announced in, 2017, and they rebooted development like 3 years ago, and we still haven't heard anything.
What? I'm sorry. What game again? Say that again.
Metroid Prime 4.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like how you said you weren't going to piss away on Metroid, and then you pissed away on Metroid.
A different drain. It was a different drain.
It's a different Metroid drain, though. It's still Metroid. Neil will always support Metroid.
I will always piss down that drain.
All right, so I think that's interesting. I think that could happen. Especially given my crazy one, which should be interesting to you.
All right. So we're back up at Phil.
Phil, right? Yep.
All right. I think that Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader actually does release probably holiday season of 2023. It's Owlcat who's making it. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's Warhammer 40K CRPG, the first one they're coming out with, and it's the same company that made Owlcat, the big CRPG that came out this year.
I am in the same category as you. I know Owlcat. I know of the game you're talking about. I cannot remember the name of the game you're talking about.
I literally know nothing of what you're speaking.
I'm gonna Google that shit.
Yeah.
So what was the name of that game again?
Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader. Alrighty.
Warhammer. I'm sorry. Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous.
Yeah, Wrath of the Righteous.
Yeah.
So the reason that's a guess, I guess, is because we know that Owlcat's making that game, but Owlcat they're pretty good at, like, they'll have two teams, and so my theory is that they've actually been working on Warhammer far longer than we think. So I think it's like much farther along than anyone knows, and that it'll kind of like get announced, and then drop
fast, like a 6 month.
Yeah.
So you said holiday season then, right?
That's my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being early in the year.
All right.
I wouldn't hold the release date of it against you.
It doesn't have one now, so I guess I'm just saying I think 2023 it'll actually come out.
Am I up then?
You are up.
Can never remember the order. Okay, so I said I was going to resolve the FTC thing in my first prediction. Did it backwards. My next prediction is the FTC has been blown out of proportion in the media. It's not going to be nearly as bad as everybody says. I personally went back to the because I didn't know a ton about what we were talking about last time we kind of decided it a couple hours before we went live. I went back to that article, then I went to this guy that I listened to, Hogue Law, shout out to his podcast. He's an actual corporate lawyer who kind of breaks this stuff down. Listened to a bunch of stuff on the FTC thing. All the stuff, all the signs that the FTC is going to actually file a lawsuit come from the exact same processes that would just lead to concessions as well. So nothing has gotten to a point where it's like, they're definitely going to file a lawsuit sort of thing. And then if they file a lawsuit, this is something I found out last time, the FTC doesn't actually block anything. They have to file a lawsuit, and then it goes to judicial before anything gets resolved. It's not actually up to them in the end. So what I think is going to happen is Microsoft is going to come to the table because they're very smart on this. They want to get this deal done. They want to get out of the media. They're going to come to the table and they're going to make concessions. We're going to get concessions, and we're going to get some mild concessions, and that will resolve this, such as Call of Duty will be on all PlayStation. They will basically guarantee Call of Duty is a multi-platform release for the foreseeable future, at least 10 years, possibly more, and that will be the concession that allows this deal to move forward, which allows them to then proceed to the Ubisoft buyout.
Yeah, and honestly, they're already trending that way too.
Yeah.
Because like we had mentioned when we were talking about it before, that it was kind of rumored that they were going to offer Call of Duty for 10 years. It's now like basically, yes, they've straight up said, oh yeah, we'll guarantee Call of Duty for 10 years on, you know, other platforms. So I mean
why
concessions
not?
are already coming along.
They forget about, like, Call of Duty is the biggest moneymaker out there, and every other game pales in comparison, dollars and cents wise, to it. I'm not arguing that. But to then just completely ignore the amount of money they make on every other fucking studio they have there, you know, is crazy. There's tons of money in Blizzard Activision. I mean, they're going to put that out there, but then Overwatch is going to be exclusive. You're going to have Hearthstone become exclusive. You know, all these crazy things become exclusive or locked into Xbox or Game Pass that builds their market. That aside, though, that's kind of a tangent. The FTC, basically what they do is when they start to progress this, they open these investigations, they start to bring lawyers in and stuff like that. Yes, that is signs, and those were all the signs that this article was basing this off of. But those are also all the signs of we need to do concessions. And they talk to the companies long before they actually file a lawsuit, and they haven't even talked to the companies yet. Like actually sat them down and talk to them, not just their weird reverse name calling statements. So I think this is, unfortunately, because I don't want this to happen, I think it's all going to get resolved early next year with concessions, which will allow them to proceed to the Ubisoft buyout, and we will get ever so closer to being under Microsoft company employer -D3667784.
Well, I'm just going to slide right on into my next one then, which is the complete opposite of yours.
Yeah!
Yeah, I do think
Put on your gloves, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that deal is going to get shut down.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
Whether
I'm gonna predict right now, one of you is right and one is wrong.
it's like you can see into the future.
This is why he wins these. I think we're going to have to take him out of this. He's too good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like tech antitrust is something that's really been on a lot of like government officials' minds lately. Now, whether or not they actually do anything about it, my personal feeling is why I think that they're gonna go ahead and move it along into the dissolution of this buying, the purchase of Activision Blizzard. I think it's going to be one of those things to where the concessions are offered, but they're not going to be enough, and enough of a stink is going to be raised about the fairness of the deal that it's going to go. It's my personal prediction is that it's going to get shut down, but I almost wonder if it'll be dragged on into 2024.
I think you should look, I don't want to like, I mean, we're all doing this friendly, so I think you should make your concession that they file a lawsuit against it for dissolution based on antitrust, not that it resolves next year, because it's even if they file a lawsuit and what you say is correct right now, it will not end next year. It will be
that's fair.
Years before it resolves, because Microsoft will fight it with everything, and then it will be a huge court battle for years to come. So like, I mean, I don't want to make it easier for you to win, but I would not make it that it's going to be resolved next year if you're saying that they're going to file a lawsuit.
So I'm going to write it down as Activision deal gets interrupted by the FTC.
I also love just you still have that childlike twinkle in your eye, Neil. That just like you think that like they're not just going to buy their way out of all of this. I love it. I love it. I wish I could like kiss you on the forehead and put you to bed and like read you a bedtime story and just like protect you from the monsters.
You know what's funny to me is I think if Neil is right on this, then I think Microsoft buys Ubisoft. But I don't think both will happen. And obviously, this isn't my prediction, but I think if Microsoft gets its way with Blizzard, Activision, I think then they might like lie low for a year, you know. But and even if that shit's going on in the background, like maybe we won't hear about it. But I think if they lose this, they'll just jump right onto Ubisoft. Yeah, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's both are valid theories.
One of you is gonna win, or you both are gonna win one off of this somehow or another. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely will split. I think that like, that's a good theory. For me, the way Microsoft acts, it acts like they are unkillable and undefeatable. And if something else happens where it just proves more that they're unkillable and undefeatable, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Like if you're a prize fighter who's just winning every fight that you get into, and then you end up fighting. Yeah, and then you end up fighting the next guy, and everybody's like, you can't beat this guy, and then you beat him. It's a hard fight, but you beat him. Are you going to not fight the next guy? I don't think so. But the thing is, though, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, from my point of view, the mentality of that company lately has been pillage and burn and take. And, like, they're not going to stop that until somebody says they can't do it anymore. And unless somebody says they can't do it on this, I just don't see them stopping.
I just think that they would want to, like, so say they win.
Yeah.
I just think they'll want to be like, all right, let's wait till someone else does something to get the FCC off our nuts, and then we'll go by. But
it's possible.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
It's very interesting. All of these are good theories. Like, this is all good theories. I'm not, like, knocking anybody. I'm just trying to, like, explain my stance on it. All right, so Neil, we're up to your number 2.
Yeah,
right?
That was my second. So Phil, you are up with your third.
That's right.
Is this the big guy?
No, this is your last regular.
And then you get a crazy.
And then you get the big guy.
The big guy.
Okay.
The big guy.
So, tell me if this isn't, if this is too easy. You guys can tell me. I should have told you guys off screen.
You're fine.
So, I think Baldur's Gate 3 releases to good reviews, and I think the only thing that's gonna find in the community that plays it is that it's front loaded.
So this first half will be the better half.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I say that, and I don't think it's gonna like kill the game or anything, but I have a couple of reasons I say that. So Larian is making the game. I really like Larian, but so with that's what happened with DOS2, Divinity Original Sin 2, which is what they're most known for. The game was like really, it got released, it did well, but the back half of the game was like lagging, or not, lacking, I should say. And they ended up like fluffing up the back half of the game later. And the reason I think this is going to repeat to an extent is because, so right now they are in early access of Baldur's Gate 3, and you can only play the first act in Baldur's Gate 3, right? So everybody is playtesting the shit out of Act 1.
Right.
But they're going to release Act 2 and 3 when the game releases, and I think that was somewhat of a mistake because you playtested the crap out of the beginning of the game, and then nobody has
touched the last
level play 2 or 3. And the reason those kinds of games do get away with that kind of stuff is because they're super long games. So say they sell, I don't know, let's just say 10 million copies, right? Well, only 2 million of the people that play that game ever even get to the end game, because as we all know, very few people beat games anymore.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a game that's 80 hours of play or something, it's going to be even less, you know. So I don't know if that's too easy for you guys.
I don't think it's easy. I think you showed your work very properly on that. When is it supposed to release?
They have not. It's 2023. They just haven't. They haven't given a date. There's a panel from hell next week where maybe or maybe not they give a release window. But
that's something that I have a problem with on early access too, that I've recently realized, and that is you play the game, like you get excited for it in early access, and overall I think early access can be a really useful tool, but you get excited for the game, you play the game in early access, and then you play the shit out of the first part of it, and then you kind of get bored and move on before the game actually releases. Grounded has been released. It's, from what I hear, a stellar game.
Happened to me with Grounded.
I haven't gone back to it because I've played so much. I've already had 3 rounds of it in early access playing it that, like, I don't have the need to go back to it, even though the full story, the cinematics are there, the whole thing is there, and it's like I haven't gone back to it because of that early access, which is really, really strange.
I did. I learned from Grounded, and with Baldur's Gate limited it myself.
Yeah.
Like I did it to myself on purpose, where I've just been slowly playing through, and I'm not gonna, because every time they do an update, like say you made a character, well, you can't carry that character back over, so say they do an update and they add another class, you would start over with that class. I told myself in the beginning, like, no, I'm just going to play one class through Act 1, and when I'm done until the game releases.
That's a good idea. I'm playing a game right now called Kinseed, which has been in early access for a year or 2, I think, and I really loved it, but I only bought it like 2 weeks, like 3 weeks ago, maybe, I think, and I really love it, but its full release is the 6th, 2 days from now, and they're adding a bunch of stuff, and I stopped, like, I got through the first part, and then I was like, no, I'm just going to stop, because I don't want to overplay this before the full release comes out, where I get a bunch of new stuff on the 6th, so yeah, it's a very strange feeling, so I'm okay with that, Neil. I don't know, are you?
Yeah, no, I think that there's enough specificity there.
You showed your work. Really, that's what we're asking for is showing your work is all it is.
Yeah, especially given the fact, too, like, you had said that there's a release date for 23, but, like, that's it.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, Baldur's Gate 3 got announced at the end of 2020?
It's been in early access for 2 years.
Yeah. So I mean, it's already been I think it's one of those that it's not set in stone enough to where it's a shoe-in to come out on time or anything like that.
Yeah. So my third one, right?
Yes.
The non-big guy one. Okay. I have made this prediction before, and it burned me. This was before Phil was playing. I am returning to this prediction because I think the time is right now. I am predicting that Monster Hunter World 2 will be announced this year, and it will be announced for a release of early next year, January or February 2024.
Ooh.
So it will be announced probably in Summer of Gaming or Game Awards, and it will be announced for the January or February, early January or February next year. So yes, just to say, if it does actually somehow release next year, I would only get maybe a half point for it, but it will be announced next year and for a 2024 release, early January, February.
All right. I love how often that we come back to the well on some of our predictions.
Well, and there's a lot of them that it's like, I just want this to happen. I just want it to happen. So I want to predict
exactly
it.
how it was when you did that the first time. I remember listening, and I was like, no fucking way.
No way. No way. And I was wrong. I'll take it. I was definitely wrong. But I think we've had enough time now. More than enough time. Especially since there are two teams on the Monster Hunter stuff. So the guys who made Rise are not the same guys that work on World. So we've had plenty of development time for that. I'm very excited. I think that we're going to get Monster Hunter World 2.
Is Rise done? Did they already do their... Okay.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. It's on PC. It's going into Game Pass. It's actually in PC Game Pass.
Oh.
At some point, either now or some point this month, it's releasing in Game Pass PC, and then it'll be on Game Pass everywhere when it comes to Xbox console next year early. So it's everywhere. It's even disseminated to all the other consoles now, too.
Alrighty.
Your number 3, Neil.
So my number three, I have a little bit of splaining to do on this one, but I'll keep it relatively brief. Starfield is not releasing in the first half of 2023, but the back half of 2023.
So it's going to get delayed again? Oh, yes, no, it's not delayed. It's indefinite right now, right? They don't have a date.
They don't have a date associated with it, but they have said that they are going to have that game come out after Redfall, and Redfall is supposed to be coming out in, so like they're predicting right now the March to May window, somewhere in the first half of the year. No, it's going to get another delay.
It's going to be November.
And it's going to, I think, it's going to be like holiday. It's going to be like holiday 23.
I think that's good. I think that's fine for explaining. I want to say this. I was going to make a Starfield prediction, and I specifically was like, no, I don't want to talk about Starfield anymore. that might burn me, but like my prediction was going to be it was going to get delayed out of next year. So
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it goes into 24.
If it did, I'd give you a half point, but yeah, it's definitely not.
No.
I wouldn't take a half point on if it goes to 24.
That's my crazy prediction, guys.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's your crazy? That's
your big guy?
Starfield's going to go into 24?
Yeah, it don't come out. I don't think it comes out. That's my crazy.
Yeah, we can just cover that now then. Since we're already talking about it.
We're talking about like...
That's
crazy.
That's the one trick with this show is you're always nervous somebody's going to make nearly the exact same prediction as you.
Yeah, so I think Starfield don't release for my wild and crazy. I think there's gonna be some horse shit. Like there's gonna be some excuse. Like, and we'll never know the truth as to why. But I think there's gonna be, the hardware can't handle it, or we need to. They're gonna do. It's
Cyberpunk 2.0. So I completely agree with you. Agree with you.
That was my crazy, is that Starfield actually gets pushed out of 2023 altogether.
Yeah, that's good. I would...
And that everyone will be like, well, it's cool, because I just want a good game,
There's... you know what? And like that, I feel like that only goes so far. Like, yeah, I want a good game too, but it's like one of those things too. Like, you know, you can tell somebody, you know, something's going to happen. You can get them excited for it, and you can tell them it's going to be so good when it's ready to go. But as that time goes by from when it's actually, you know, announced to when it actually comes out, a lot of stuff changes, and that hype just kind of feeds into itself. Because remember, we've only seen like one little bit of gameplay, and that's it. And that was just last year.
It was not a great gameplay reveal either. I have said it repeatedly. I'm going to say it again. Anybody who buys that game at any point in their gaming life point is one of two assholes. The first being, you put up with all the delays and bullshit to then get a shitty game to get really pissed to put it down, or you don't really follow it at first, you don't buy it right away, but you end up buying it later on a sale when it's actually kind of a decent game, and then you say to the first asshole, I don't know why you didn't like this, it's pretty good, and then you go, I hate that fucking guy. So those are the two types of assholes who are going to buy this. So don't buy this game. Like, that's the choice you got to make.
That was another consideration for a crazy one, but I don't know what would lead to it, is that I was thinking it was possible that for some reason Cyberpunk gets it like some second wind and becomes this like renowned game all of a sudden, which wouldn't be crazy for CD Projekt Red, because I mean, let's face it,
that's what they did with every game.
Witcher 3 is a perfect example. It was like 2 or 3 years after that launched that became such a renowned game.
A Witcher 3, I was the second kind of asshole. I'm telling you. The thing is, and the fact that CD Projekt Red is going to charge $20 for the DLC for Cyberpunk blows my mind after what has happened. But we are running late on time, so I'm going to get to my big guy, if that's okay.
Yeah, go right on ahead.
Big guy. I had a choice between two big guys. One of them was ultra negative and really sad, specifically for me. The other one would probably make Neil laugh. So I decided to go with the one Neil laughed. However, I was very scared that Neil had decided to go back on his promise, but he didn't. So my crazy prediction is we are going to see the Metroid Prime collection this year.
Fuck you.
This is the year, guys. 2023. 1 year late. They probably planned it last year, but it had delays. So we're going to see it this year alongside the announcement probably of Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, we're going to get that. Do you want to know what the super negative sad one would have been?
Oh, what was that?
Skull and Bones gets canceled. It would have made me. It's going to make me very sad if that happens. But that would have been my other crazy one, is that it just gets canceled and goes away.
You think that's possible even with the information that you had, Zach?
Oh yeah, I think it's very possible with the information I have and the information that I witnessed via things I'm not allowed to talk about, but have definitely talked about on the station. Again, I may or may not have loved something that I may or may not have had access to. That being said, I also have access to certain chat threads that other people did not love what they had access to. So yeah, it's been delayed again. The game has been in production for 8 years. I don't know.
It was scheduled to come out early.
It does. To my knowledge, it does not have a release date. It had a release date of October. Then they were like early next year. I may be wrong on that.
Look it up here.
But yeah, they pushed it. They pushed it at least 6 months out, which is one of the reasons that I talked about how I felt like maybe the whole problem was that
why the fuck when I Google Skull and Bones do man thongs show up?
I don't know what you've been looking at on your phone.
That's interesting.
Oh my god.
I'm seeing March 9th.
Okay, all right.
Unless this is old, I don't know.
It's like I said, it's highly possible, and I just got my wires crossed. But still, I knew it was at least a 6 month delay, which is why I made the theory that they're trying to add a bunch of stuff that they got shipped for that wasn't in the game, such as on-foot island exploration and on-foot combat and stuff, which I still don't think is technically really possible with what this game is probably going to be based on nothing that I've seen already. So I don't know, but that was my other one, was that would get canceled. I decided to go with a much more positive one, which is that Neil's just going to be really mad at me for getting a point that he's been trying to get for
if
years.
You get the point off of the thing that I've tried for 2 years to get.
It will be in a glass box of emotions.
A glass box of emotions.
March 9th, 23.
It is March 9th. Okay, all right, I had it wrong then. I'm sorry, guys. Nonetheless, it was a long delay after 8 years. I was like, maybe it just goes away, and they officially cancel it. I don't know. I mean, there have been games getting canceled
left and right
in later stages of development than what this is. And I know this is late stage development, but in later stages of development than this, there have been games canceled. So like, it's not outside the realm of possibility, but that's one of the reasons that I thought it could be a crazy one, but I decided to go with the positive one. So Metroid Prime Collection. Let's go. Let's go, Samus. Let's go.
So, my crazy one, I feel like, is one that's going to piss a lot of people off. But
the good ones.
I think that they may have the balls to do it.
Let's see it. It's a crazy one. It's supposed to be crazy.
I think that Sony and Microsoft announced their hardware revisions for the current gen console this year.
God. Oh my God!
The worst possible look.
They don't have
the worst possible look that they could have.
God.
Think about it. We're coming up now on what is it? 2 years, 3 years into the console's lifespan.
Right. You're 100%
the Xbox One.
Kinda, but yeah.
The Xbox One X was announced a full year before they actually did like the full reveal of it.
Yeah.
For the announcement and like the name of it and everything. I think that they might just have the sack on them. Microsoft is going by the way of, well, generations aren't a thing anymore and boop. And Sony is looking for some way that they can hit the reset button on their supply issues and everything like that. Like I have to kind of be careful what I say, but like my job, we sell PS5s constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually getting them on a relatively regular basis now. Yeah. I think now that people have some access to the PS5 that you know, Sony's just going to be like, okay, blood's in the water, guys. Let's get the sharks. Let's throw out some information and get people hyped. Exactly. And I feel like they both would be primed and ready to do it.
All right, I think you're going to get a half point on this, or I guess 1 point via the 2-point rule, because I don't think Xbox is going to, but I 100% think Sony is. And the only one of the biggest reasons I think they are is they just announced that they already have announced their systems for what, 6 years from now? Their new system?
Something like that, yeah.
Like the PS6, that they already have like an announcement year for that? Like, those guys, they are so rigid and so committed to their same way of thinking that there is a schedule on a wall somewhere, and it doesn't matter what diseases happen, it doesn't matter what supply chain issues happen, it doesn't matter what shortages happen. They are just adhering to that plan rigidly, without question. So I mean 2 years is about the amount of time that you would announce this. And so I think Sony's like, this is our next box, this is what we do, this is our plan. They stay the course no matter what. So I kind of feel like you're onto something there.
What a kick in the nuts for anyone who already bought or struggled to buy a PS5 and gets it before they announce it.
Yeah. Or one of those people who paid like 3 times the amount to get it in the first place.
That's already bad enough as it is.
They kicked in the balls. They're laying on the ground rolling around because they ain't got nothing to play on their $1,000 system.
I mean, we'll definitely know if you're right or wrong because you'll be hearing us talk about it constantly on the channel if that comes into fruition. All right, so that's all of them, right? We got them
That
in.
is all of
Predictions
them.
locked?
We are in. We are set. We are ready to go for 23.
All right. Well, I got a couple of odds and ends. Do you got any odds and ends?
Yeah, I only have 2 now, actually, because we burned the one earlier.
I only have 3. So why don't we jump over to it, get through them real quick, and then we will wrap this thing up. It's a little bit long show. William Hoohan will be happy. All right, so we'll be right back with odds and ends.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our third segment, our last segment, odds and ends. We collect smaller news stories. We don't necessarily deserve a full talking point. We want to tell you guys about them, riff about them, that whole thing. Neil has 2, I have 3, so I'm guessing I'm going to start this one off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my first one is just announced today on the long line of video games to movies. Sifu is getting a movie. Now, I was very upset about this at first because while I think it makes a great movie, the transfer usually makes things terrible. Nonetheless, Derek Kolstad is the guy doing it. So I don't know what Derek Kolstad's obsession with video game movies is. This is the guy who made John Wick, by the way. But
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, now he's on
because that is the fit. That is the perfect fit.
or the guys who made Bullet Train. I recently watched that, and that movie is fucking awesome.
I was going to ask because I saw it's on Netflix now. I've been curious about it.
It's amazing. It's crazy, and it's way out there. Like it's from the guys who wrote, or the guy who wrote Deadpool. So it's just fucking insane, but it's hilarious and fucking insane. So it's right up my alley. But yeah, like it needs to be something like that. So yeah, so I'm excited about that now that Derek Kolstad's behind it. But I'm pretty sure Derek Kolstad, maybe it's Chad Stahelski, because those are the guys who made John Wick, and they don't do things together anymore. But maybe it's a different one. But I don't know what it is with the John Wick people making video game movies, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's fine. So my first one, very weird one. Microsoft is selling tiny hoodies for your Xbox controllers.
What?
Yeah. It's literally it's like a little jersey hoodie. It looks and feels like a tiny little hoodie that you just slide over top of your controller, and your controller just sits in it.
Why?
Why not? They were doing those. The Xbox onesie like 2 years ago, to where you could get it like custom engraved and everything, and it had like a whole controller and headset pouch on the side of it. Had like a little snack storage area too.
I think this is the 3rd week in a row that I've said this. Maybe we need to get some merchandise made for me, but I can't think of a why. I can only think of why nots for this. And a lot of the why nots revolve around the same reason the fur controller was a stupid idea. You remember that shit? When it was like fur? I'm like...
That was a couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, are you kidding? Half the people who play like... and eat greasy foods, and shit is, oh god, I can't imagine washing a hoodie for my
Cheeto
fucking
dust
controller.
all over your...
yeah, no, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. All right, so my next one then.
Yeah.
There is one I'm going to add to mine if you didn't have it, but I was pretty sure you were going to cover it, so I specifically left it off my list. And it would have been our talking point today if we weren't already doing something big.
I feel like I already kind of know.
I can't imagine you don't have it on there because it's like right up your alley, but if you don't, I'll add it. Sonic Frontiers got a roadmap, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting some free DLC from this, which is very uncharacteristic of Sega, which usually kind of handle things much more like a big name corporation and make you pay for everything. But Sonic Frontiers is right off the bat getting Jukebox. It is getting some extra challenge modes to give you a reason to go back. And it is also getting playable characters. All the characters that you help throughout Sonic Frontiers will apparently be playable. I don't know in what capacity, whether it's just in the challenge modes or just in the cyberspace levels or what, but they're adding playable characters to it. There's actually a Sega roadmap for this game, and from what I understand, it is all going to be free, which is phenomenal kind of change. It's crazy for Sega to do this. I think you'll agree with me on that. Sega's very old school in the content you pay for sort of shit. This is all supposedly going to be free and included with your purchase.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Especially since it didn't have an end game.
Yeah, and that was one of my big complaints, was there's no reason to go back to it. Now I might actually have a reason to go back to it, which kind of excites me. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, my other one then, we'll see if this is the same thing that we were thinking about here, but apparently Cyberpunk is rumored to be getting a Game of the Year edition next year. Further besmirching the Game of the Year moniker.
Yep.
Not up for Game of the Year at all.
Ever.
Not mentioned for Game of the Year last year. I don't.
Maybe they listened to our show. Maybe it was us that gave it to them because it was fucking on our stupid list. I guess they would have to put Experience of the Year edition then. But
Game of the Year edition apparently rumored to be coming with the DLC and everything like that. Why bother?
Hey man, I'm not going to comment on this because all I have to say is swear words, and I don't. YouTube monitors that if you say too many in a row, and it would just be a lot of really bad swear words that you only usually hear from British TV. So I'm gonna let it go. I will say this, that is not the one I was going to add to my list, and I'm very surprised. So I will have to add it. I will have to add it to the list. I'm very surprised that you didn't have it. But before that, we need to talk about Pokemon again.
Yeah.
So, in the shit show of the Pokemon release, Scarlet and Violet, it has come out that the multiplayer was not just bugged wrong, it was built bad. So the way they do it is they seeded every match on the same number set. So if you go in, you can figure out the percentages for every attack to hit or miss on every turn if you've already played it. So if you go in, the first attack, even if you have a 78% chance of hitting, is probably going to miss because it always rolls the same number. So while it'll feel different when you're playing other people sometimes, and with different Pokemon because the attacks are different, the actual percentage chance, the procedural generation that's built on the rolling of the random number generator for the attacks is all seeded on the same number. So it doesn't change from match to match. So all you have to do is figure that out, and then you can literally win every match against anyone online. So Pokemon Stadium on Scarlet and Violet are broken currently.
That is horrible.
Yeah. And that's not even a bug. You fucking built it wrong.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. You got anything to add to that, Phil, or I'm going to do the last one?
No.
Last one. Smash Brothers, Nintendo, Smash Brothers World Tour. This would have been I'm surprised it's not on your list then because you're a Smash guy. They last minute 11th hour canceled a World Tour competitive tournament series for Smash Brothers, which would have been, I think it's something crazy, 6,000 cities it was going to. It had organized all of these venues already. It already had entries in a lot of places. People had already bought into it. And Nintendo had already kind of told them they were okay with this. But Nintendo made a deal with this company, I don't know, Panda something. And that deal is to do a tournament, an official tournament through Panda. Then all of a sudden, Nintendo tells World Tour they can't do it. They canceled it last minute, literally canceling 6,000 shows, forcing these people to refund all the tickets, all the entry fees, all of it. It's become a logistics nightmare. There's no end in sight for these people. And basically Nintendo came out and said, yeah, they just didn't meet our standards. It has nothing to do with the deal that we already made. We're definitely still open to third parties doing tournaments. We just didn't like the way they were doing it. So you waited until like 3 days before it began to decide that you didn't like it? This is bullshit and some real evil shit that Nintendo did.
Nintendo is way too controlling with their stuff.
Way too controlling.
I mean, that's we've seen that in the past with their how they are about using their IP and other things, like unofficial capacity, like with Dreams and stuff like that. Yeah. We're seeing it here now. I mean, we're only just recently now getting another shot at the whole idea of a Mario movie, which just had its second trailer come out. I don't know if you've seen that or not yet.
I have. I liked it a lot better than the first trailer, honestly. I also thought that the second trailer was specifically made based on what people had problems with in the first trailer.
Yeah.
I thought, sure. Okay, they were specifically responding to what people said they didn't like about the first trailer.
But yeah, that's the thing is like Nintendo keeps the pressure on all of the time. But like they'll either be very direct and say this is precisely what you need to do and how you need to do it, or they'll judge you from a distance.
Yeah.
And like at the last second when you think everything's going fine and everything's good. Yeah, actually we have a problem with this and you're not going to do anything anymore, so fuck you. And then cuts ties.
Well, and they trade cease and desist letters like Pokemon cards. Like, it's ridiculous. They toss them out everywhere, and there's just no reason for that level of litigation from them. Especially since a lot of these things are just free advertising. They put a cease and desist on a first-person shooter game with no actual guns, mind you. They shot plungers of Mario through like Dreams on PlayStation, which is like a game creation system. They put a cease and desist on it. Are you making a first-person Mario game that's going to dip into? No, you're not. You're definitely not making that. The only thing that does is put more advertisement on the Mario name. It's free advertising for you. Why would you shut that down? It's insane the level of litigation that Nintendo throws at these kind of things. And I really don't like... the thing that I don't like the most is that this was the last second. This was the last second they shut them down. They could have shut them down at any point before that. And according to Smash World Tour, they were completely in contact with them the entire times, and nobody had any problem with them. So it wasn't like they were trying to do this under the radar. Like, why did you wait until this time to shut them down, you know?
Right.
All right. If there's nothing else anybody wants to add, you guys want to hit the plugs and go to Sleepy?
Yes. Yes, Slate. Very much go Sleepy.
Slate for the three of us now.
This is very late now.
I was about to say, Neil used to be the night owl, but even Neil's sleepy baby now.
Like 10 o'clock, 10:30. The other night even. I think it was, Saturday night, Friday night, Saturday night, something like, I can't remember what it was. We went to bed at like 9. I was like, yes!
I fell asleep on the fucking couch at like 3:30 yesterday. I totally get it. All right. We're going to pause. We're going to be right back. To tell you guys other stuff you can listen to from us.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. We will start with Foundation member who is rarely here, Philbilly 330. Is there anything specific you would like to plug or throw out there into the world to our 344 subscribers? 15 of which are going to actually watch this?
I would like to, and I say this all the time, but I'd like to get back into a little streaming here in the future, maybe after the crazy holiday season's over. Maybe I'll jump into Warzone 2.0. It's been a while. So
love to see it.
And then maybe we'll, me and Zach will have time to get into Wildermyth again. 'Cause
Well,
that was fun.
I actually started playing it again on my own just because I missed it so much. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
want to
it's
play
a
that
good
with you.
game.
Yeah, we
And
can
then
definitely stream it.
if you want to see any more of me, I know we're on the hiatus, but Doc Holliday, champion of our Zach's TTRPG game that we post here. You can check him out, and he is played by me. So yeah.
We got 2 champions in the house, 2 champs in the house. Neil, anything you would like to plug?
That episode aired, right?
Yeah, it aired. It aired.
Okay.
Sound sucked. I don't know what the fuck I did wrong on
Really?
Jay. He was so quiet. Jay was like a fucking whisperer. It would be like you and me would be talking like this, and then Jay would go to do his thing and it'd be like, I don't know why, man. I don't know why. It sounded fine when we were doing it. And you guys are on the same thread, too. You're on the same fucking audio track, so I have no idea why his was so quiet, but I don't know. Bugs, ladies and gentlemen. Bugs! But go ahead, Neil. What do you want to plug?
Plugging, of course, the usual things. I'm here doing this. We're here doing the UHW as well. That's probably going to be kicking back up, like I said, at the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting rolling back into that here. But I actually have another special plug, and I don't have these very often. So I was actually lucky enough to be a guest on the Dope Nerds podcast. It's 3 guys, Q, Big Irv, and Hugh. They talk about all things gaming, anime, DC, Marvel, all that sort of stuff. It was a absolute blast. If you guys want to go check them out, they are the Dope Nerds, Nerds with a Z podcast. They have a fairly regular release schedule, but they're a really cool, chill time. I loved being on there, and I hope to have them on our podcast here too sometime into the new year.
Do we know when that podcast comes out? The one that you're on?
Yeah. Last I had heard, it's going to be about 2 weeks from the time of this recording.
Okay.
But I'm sure I'll get some more information. But absolutely go ahead and give them a listen, give them a sub. They're fantastic. It is so laid back. It doesn't even feel like you're trying to do a podcast. It feels like a natural conversation, kind of like what we do here. So if you want to give them a sub, like I said, you can find them anywhere you find us, because they use Anchor as well. They're on YouTube, everything. It is the Dope Nerds, and that is nerds spelled with a Z.
All right, we'll have to check them out. I haven't gotten to check them out yet. I'm excited to hear you on another podcast. And the terrible. Did you say bad shit again about me though?
Shitless.
You didn't talk shit about me, did you?
No, I didn't talk shit about you.
You should have. You definitely should have.
There's only one tiny
the
part
opportunity's
that you're
there.
There's only going to be one tiny part that you're pissed at.
What would I be pissed at?
I can never remember the plugs.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That is the part I'd be pissed at. You can't plug our shit on the other show? Are you kidding me?
I can. I just can't plug it properly.
The one benefit of you being on another podcast.
I know.
Like, what are you on? I don't know. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't.
It was like,
what's the name of it?
I was like, it's Old Man Gaming. It's a horrible gaming podcast. And I'm like, the URL. But like, if you search it on YouTube, it kind of looks like a TV icon. And I, if I remember correctly, because I definitely delved into full panic mode, because I was nervous the whole time because I had never been on a different podcast before. I literally was like, and like, I think I remember going and searching and like trying to turn my phone to the camera to show it like an actual doof.
You know,
like an old man telling somebody to map quest something.
Yeah. If you type in surprisingly Old Man Gaming Warzone, it'll pull up, guaranteed. Like
really?
because there's other old man gamings, but none of
Yeah.
them have ever done Warzone streams, so it's like a sure way to pull it up.
There's a couple of weird ones like that. You can also get us through Wildermyth. It's real easy because nobody does Wildermyth. And then you can actually really easily get any UHW stuff as long as you type in UHW show number, episode number. It'll pull up our UHW just because nobody else has that tag in it whatsoever.
I did plug your game. I plugged your game, so I mean.
You plugged my game.
I plugged your game. I did my usual. Of grabbing Brooke and here you go. Here's the game.
I didn't write this. I don't really make any money off it, but I'm gonna plug it. Okay, I can't be mad at you now. I can't be mad at you. All right, well that's it for us, guys. As far as plugs for me, you can check out everything we have to offer. I have a lot of stuff in the works for start of the new year, but we are, like I said, this is the beginning of our end of year stuff, so I'm just going to go through it with you. This week, you're listening to our prediction show. Next week, me and Neil are going to break down Keeley's Fuckfest, the Game Awards. Then the week after that, I think all three of us will be back together to do our year in review. We're going to take a look at 2022 and the table fire that was, and tell you guys all the downs from it that we want to point out, and then the very small amount of highs that we want to point out.
Really teeing it up to be just a spectacular podcast.
Yeah. It's gonna be what we do best, which is whine about shit.
Bitching, yes.
Yeah. First world problems all the way. Then the year after that is the Christmas week. We will be doing the Horrible Game Awards show. The Game Awards show of us, our community. The nomination show is already up on our YouTube channel. You can check out everything that ended up getting nominated. We are going to decide the winners. It will be a lot of fun. We'll have some presenters from the community. It'll be a really good time. A week after that, we're going to do our anticipation week. It will be pre-taped, so there won't be any fan interaction. It'll probably be a shorter show, but it'll be probably the three of us again, and we'll be telling you guys everything we anticipate the most from 2023, what we're looking forward to, what we're excited about, and then we'll be back. We'll be back next year. You can't be excited about disappointment, Neil. I'm sorry. You have to find things to be excited about next year. And I know it's hard. I'm already excited about being right about Metroid Prime 3 and making you very mad. All right, so next year, and then next year we got a lot of stuff coming. I do want to say I am already working on a new Let's Play show with a guy you guys have never seen before, so that's really exciting. I'm going to be doing something Let's Play oriented with Neil. We need to figure that out. Like Philbilly said,
Again, yeah.
We're going to be organizing some more streams once this holiday season is done. So please stay to the channel, and then of course, UHW will be coming back. So, all right, I'm done talking about stuff. You guys can, of course, reach us at Facebook at OmegameDH, on Twitter at OmegameDH9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as long as you keep watching and listening to this, I'll keep making it with these guys. We'll all keep making it. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Later.
Oh, yeah?
What's that?
Because I felt awkward. So the room where Zach's seen it, but we have 22-foot ceilings in the room that we put the tree in. Okay. So Jacqueline decides that she wants this big fucking tree. So it's 13 foot tall or something. So the place we go, and Zach and Melissa get theirs at the same place. They kind of drop you off in the field. You go around, you cut down your own tree, and then they pick you back up on a tractor with a trailer on it. Well, there were other families there, and they had children, and we load our tree on, which mine was too heavy for me to pick up on my own. So the worker guy had to help, and we put the tree on. So then I noticed the guy that I'm sitting with, he's got a Cadillac tattoo on him, and he just looked like he was a mechanic. So I'm like, "Are you a mechanic?" He's like, "Yeah, I work here." And we started talking for a minute, and then this kid's like, "Dad, their tree's huge." And They're like, that means he has a big house. I'm like, oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
no.
So then it's me, like, trying not to, because I don't want to come across as a douche. So me trying to be like, no, you have a normal tree. That's normal. Mine is just because we have this one room in our house that has 22-foot tall ceilings. And then the wife looks at me and she's like, yeah, just one room, huh? I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, God.
We both do the same thing for a living.
I swear I'm not rich. I swear it.
I've never so adamantly tried to make myself look poorer than I am.
It's just like the weird things that can turn into like almost like a dick swinging competition.
Yeah. But it's like a reverse dick swinging. It's like reverse dick swinging. No, it's not that big. I swear.
I was back in.
Oh, that's
like,
fucking hysterical.
Because I don't want to be that guy who's like, yeah, my house has 40-foot tall ceilings, you know?
Should have been like, this is my first tree. I'm picking up my second tree
I
tomorrow.
stack. Yeah, right. I stack ducats, bitches. What do you want? Should just look. You should just owned it and looked at the kid and been like, I could buy your father.